Hello, everyone, and welcome to round number 3, Chase Card Edition at the 2022 Shelly Sharpe Memorial, presented by Spinners on the Green. We've got a little extra action for you guys, and we're going to have a great card with Nick Newton, joined by Kennan Johnson, Cale Leiviska, and rounding out the card, we're going to have Luke Samson. These guys trying to make a push to see if they can finish on the podium or even take it down from the Chase card. Looking at hole number 1, straight ahead, got a couple of mandatories. Going to have the frame set up, so actually you have to throw both inside the frame from the left and right, but also below the overhanging flag, so it's a triple mando. Arizona's own Nick Newton here on the card, very consistent so far this weekend. 7 under first round, 7 under second round. Let's see what he can do here in the third. That's the most common mistake that you see here, something that goes straight, then comes in flat, and then likely gets a skip out to the left side. And it's not too bad, but you have to kind of beat that final tree. That gives you so much more room and a better look at the basket, as we see Kennan Johnson a little bit deep, but in great position. Here's Cale Leiviska, who you saw in rounds 1 and 2 on the feature and lead cards. Cale not able to go on the vacation him and his wife were planning on, so they said, hey, let's get out of the Minnesota weather anyway and find some action in Arizona. So great to have him here. You hear some commotion just to, well, what would be to the right of where we're standing. That's Duke's Sports Bar and Grill, big sponsor and supporter of disc golf. I've been going to Duke's literally since 2005 when I first came to the Memorial Championships. They've always been gracious with us. Here's Cale. Jumper is a little high and wide. And Newton's birdie attempt not quite high enough. Again, that tree, albeit just the single tree there, so protective on anything left of the pin. Straight deep or right are the two places you'd much rather be on this one. And Kennan getting started off the great birdie. He hails from Marquette, Michigan. That's kind of up in my neck of the woods. Well, actually, even further up. Shoot, I think it'd be farther. Yeah, it'd be farther. Farther up. From where I am in Wisconsin, you go a good 6 hours or so. That's when you find Marquette. No surprise, lots of Midwestern representation, whether it's this event or the Memorial. So many players for decades are excited to get out of the cold, the wintry mess that is the Midwest, and then head over to Arizona. And can you really blame them? Here we are, hole 2, 369 feet. Fence line up on that high right side, out of bounds. I've seen it come into play before. And then, of course, the sidewalk on the left side, OB. More and more common to see the forehand, righty forehand come in and then skip up to the pin playing from left to right. We've seen that more often in these last few years. Exactly like Keenan's doing. This could jump in.
Oh, give it to him. Good run, man.
Kennan comes into the event with a 990 rating. That's a great shot by Newton. Nick, not too long ago, picked up by Prodigy, also by Spinners on the Green. He's got a 1,012 rating. Good shot by Leiviska. Leiviska certainly someone you've been seeing for many years out there. He comes into the event with a 1035 rating. No problems for Luke Samson. Good putt by Cale. That'll get him going. We've seen Luke out on tour quite a bit in the last couple of years. Main sponsor being Castaplas. I don't believe that Kennan has a primary disc sponsor. I may be incorrect on that, and I hope to learn otherwise if that's the case. But great putt there by Luke. A little more of what you'd expect to see here. Some birdies on hole 2. Not too much for wind out there today. Beautiful conditions. Temperature, again, right around 70 degrees. Much sunnier than it was during Saturday's second round. More so of a copy of Friday's bright and sunny round. Here's Kennan. Solid birdie by Kennan, and I'm going to go ahead and spoil this right now. I trim a significant amount of time from this video, and this isn't meant as disrespectful, but Nick, Kennan, Luke are 3 of your more methodical players. I think that's my polite way of saying that. Usually it's within the allotted time frame. Sometimes it's not. You guys could argue about that in the comments if you want, but there's a timer when I'm watching this during an edit. I trim a lot of time off. Here we are on hole 3, 360 feet, similar to hole 2. A little less obstruction near the basket, but you still have the slope to deal with. And again, that wall and the condos on the right side being all out of bounds. We've seen a great forehand on the previous hole. If you could do exactly as he did on the previous shot, that's exactly what Keenan's looking to do. Wants that to sit down. But short on that right-hand side. Lots of conversation, I understand it, with regard to the tee pad, so I'm going to try and address this right away and early. As Nick throws a great shot. There are tees provided. Even in the driest of conditions, they can be really slick. And they're worn in. I'm not Steve and Bamba Rico over at Legacy, so I don't know everything about concrete. Somebody put it in a comment earlier in the weekend as to what the problem is, whether it's just the conditions or whatever, or if it's the way that they were installed. But on most of the holes, the players have the legal option, as deemed by the tournament, to tee left or right, but it's within an area in which the tournament determined. So they're not just picking a random spot, as that's short for Kennan. So I just wanted to put it out there early. I know there's a ton of questions and comments. There are every year, but on most holes, the players do have a designated area where if they choose, they can throw from one of the sides of the tee pads. I hope that clears that up early here. Oh, no. Just trickling back out for Leiviska. While I'm making other clarifications and explainers, big shout out. Just a few months ago, I met a gentleman by the name of Kyle. He goes by Spicy Boy. He's a local player. He said he really wanted to take to learning how to film and video and help out, and that is the exclusive reason why you're seeing this chase card coverage, is because he graciously joined me. I gave him a few tips and pointers, and that's why he's out here filming, and you're getting extra coverage. Luke goes to 13 under. 2 down in the first 3. And Nick will match. Also 2 down in the first 3. Before you take the long walk from 6 to 7, I usually, I think our players like to see themselves 4 under. Minimum of 3 at least. 4 is great. 5, I mean, obviously you can get them all, but 4 or 5 under is what they're really looking to do to get off to a hot start out at this Vista course. These are very similar righty backhand holes, as many of you have pointed out. 381, hole 4, play out and around that tree on the right side. If you put a little too much on it, you could skip hard left. There is some marked area with paint that is determined out of bounds. Also, if you hang it out too far to the right and don't come back enough, you can find the OB on the right side. Looks like a good line clearing the tree, and Newton right there on the dance floor. And Luke saws that one off a little bit earlier, trying to play it around the tree. And there, another one flirting with the tree, and he really wishes it would have done what Luke's did, but instead carries left, finds the OB. And that tree gets yet another player. Sometimes those trees will just really suck your disc in. Cale can't really give it a run due to being underneath it. Sometimes you filter past it, and you'll see a long jumper like we did by Adam Hammis a few rounds ago, but Luke's jumper is short. This is Kennan to save par. He'll be walking away with a bogey. Here's Newton trying to pick him another birdie. This would be 3 out of 4 and center chain. So Nick off to a great start. Couple of tap-ins, the bogey by Kennan after the OB. We're going to move over to hole number 5, right around that wheelhouse, just short of 400 feet. I was thinking it was 360. It's 340 now that we're here. A Mando tree on the left, the Mando tree on the right, forcing the straight shot. See a lot of mid-ranges, occasionally a putter by some of our top throwers, but see a lot of mid-range shots here. Oh, and you gotta love the angle by Newton, nestling it right up next to the basket. Oh, that is in bounds, but off to that left-hand side. Now, if you push too far left, those trees on the back end of the green come into play, and that's almost an automatic layup every time if those are in your way. They're just at the right height to not really give you a look at the basket, so you have to come up short of those. And you guys can comment on this if you'd like, but I feel like Keenan's style, his throw, it's kind of a perfect blend of Bradley Williams along with Thomas Gilbert. And maybe I'm just making that up. Maybe I just see too many pros. But I feel like his drive, at least, is if Thomas Gilbert and Bradley Williams had a baby, it would be Keenan's driving form. Luke, big birdie. Nice work. A love from Cale. Cale just sits 1 under, so a little bit of a slow start for him. Off in the distance there. That's actually hole number 14. So if you're doing a little geography out here, which you're not, but that is hole 14. It looks like there's a whole crowd of people hustling over to the playground and the basketball courts. Park job. Nick Newton. He'll be here all weekend, folks. He'll also be in Maricopa in a couple weeks. And if he does what he usually does, that means I'll see him on film there as well on camera. Here we are, hole 6. Par 4, 783 feet. Really want to get to somewhere on the left or left center side of the fairway seems to be the most favorable position. You're going to play to elevated basket. Once you get to this elevated basket, there's going to be OB completely surrounding it on left, right, and deep of it. Solid shot there by Newton. And if you think Luke throws far, you're right. He does. He's got to be more committed, though, here. And that one is filtering out hard left and finding itself in 14's fairway. Cale opting to go up the right side route where you can flirt with out of bounds and that one tree, but he stays in, so not a problem there. We usually see him playing kind of that low hyzer route. And that turns over really late and continues to. Doesn't have enough time to curl back, so that's going to be out of bounds for Kennan. Here's Cale pushing up this left side, just waiting for the skip. He needs it. And that is beautiful. Here's where Newton's drive ended up. He also looks like he's going to take this right side route. Oh, I love the flex. Great shot, just not enough power.
Oh, throw it higher.
Frustration by Luke. So after going out of bounds, he'll bring it in 1 meter. And this is dangerous because that's an OB line that entire way.
Oh my goodness, that was bad.
And it sounds like he wasn't necessarily sure if that was inbounds or not. So they had called a provisional, and he then threw a second shot, which is a great play. It's exactly how you should use a provisional shot. Because had they walked all the way up there just to find him out of bounds, he would have had to turn around and walk back, find the lie, and then throw again. But they were thinking ahead and preemptively played a provisional. And that's a perfect use of how to play a provisional shot.
Sorry for the boring.
Nick, no need to apologize. You're playing great golf.
Good on this hole.
He's 4 down through the first 6. Can't complain about that. So his first shot, Keenan's first shot, was in fact inbound. So this is to save the par. And he does just that. He's got the 3 throws plus the initial OB shot off the tee. That's going to be my little pro tip as well here, folks. When you want to count up your score after a penalty, count how many times you threw and then just add the penalty. As Cale's in for the birdie. I feel like it makes it so much easier rather than saying, well, I've thrown 1, I'm lying 3, I've thrown this, I'm lying. Just count how many times you threw the Frisbee. Yes, I use the F word. How many times you throw it, and then just add how many times you were penalized. Makes it so much easier. Or just don't get penalties. There's the real pro tip.
Good putt, bud.
Luke cans that to salvage the bogey. Tap in by Newton. We're going to have a long walk over to hole 7. I'll cut all of that out. But we're going to move over to hole 7. Big shout out to Spinners on the Green, your presenting sponsor here of the event. 645 feet for 7. Certainly one of the easiest holes on the course relative to par. I believe it plays as the second easiest hole on the entire course. Couple 325-foot shots will get you there, or bite off a little bit more than that. 350, 375, whatever it is. You might have a standstill if you're pushing over 400. And there's a story behind that disc that Cale is throwing, and I'm going to tell you this. There's going to be a little special piece made about it as a result of this weekend walking around with Cale. I'm working on something for you guys, so stay tuned for that. Oh, what a shot. Newton low up that right side. Beautiful effort by Kennan. I would not recommend that, Luke. Cale wanting to double check that he sees his mini. I think it's a brown mini. Unless he's just playing. Yeah, he's got just a brown mini that he's playing to. So easy to see how it could blend in. All right, that prompts a question. Just seeing that now. You got to put your answer in the comments. That will make you eligible to win some giveaway action. Got Double G's beef jerky. I've got discs. Spinners on the Green hooked me up. I got a few Spinners discs and a few event discs to give away. I've got all sorts of stuff for my giveaways. But you have to comment, like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff too. But definitely comment. What do you have a preference for when it comes to using a mini? Do you have a special mini? Is it any mini? Do you not play sanctioned events or ever use a mini? Put that in the comments, whatever. Do you have a special story to a mini or a marker disc that you may use? What is that disc, that mini disc? Tell me where it came from or how you got it or what it means to you. Luke's birdie is off the mark, just a bit low. Keenan's also off the mark, so giving up some strokes to the field by letting this one go. Cale picks up another one, though. He's 4 under through 7, so off to a slow start initially, but picked up the last few birdies. Nick already has 4 through 6. He's trying to go 5 or 7. He doesn't knock the basket over. And the pars by Luke and Kennan, and they're going to go to the top of the hill. Notice not much wind blowing on that American flag there in the background. Now they're heading down hole 8. So many great comments that came in about what you would throw here. Excited to see what our chase card's going to do. Very calm conditions. Got the OB short in the water, along with the sidewalk and beyond anywhere deep. Looks like a beautiful, straightforward hole from here, doesn't it? A little bit off to that left side. Makeable range for Cale. also pushing hard left. That's going to stay up and inbounds, but certainly flirting with it. That's pushing left. Needs to go. Wow, and it stays. It kicks straight. Had that kicked at all left, I think it would have been in the drink. I think this is just a putter by Luke. Nice shot, bud. And puts it pretty close to the pin. Nice shot. Online. Nick certainly thought it was in. I know I did. Cale trying to match the effort from that we've seen from Nick. He's trying to go 5 under in the front 8. Count it. Got the jumper working. So Leiviska goes to 17 under. And while Luke sets up, I also want to quickly say big shout out resistancedisc.com, also a very significant supporting sponsor of this weekend's coverage. If you go out and use the code DGGuy, you'll get free shipping on any purchase of $30 or more. So resistancedisc.com, use the code DGGuy, and you get yourself some free shipping on anything $30 or more. Luke picks up the birdie. And we'll see pars by both Kennan and Newton. We're going to head over hole number 9, the toughest hole on the course. The par 3 here at this PDGA A tier, the first pro A tier of the year. 9 has the water on this left-hand side. The sidewalk and beyond is OB on the right side. So you can't just launch a turnover or something over to that right side and play it from wherever you want. You still have to keep it inside this peninsula here. And if somehow you're watching the chase card action here after the fact and you don't want to know what's going on in the, as Cale puts it out there, into the middle, a little bit short, and you don't want to know what's going on with the lead card, at the end of this hole, I'm going to show you guys all of the scores up into this point. So just be aware. I'll give you a pre-spoiler, although I think most of you have already seen how this has shaken out. Pulling for the oh boy. That is short, and he's got a lot of work to do from there. And that's going to be out of bounds for Kennan. That is a full commitment. Trying to get it up and over that way. Certainly brings the both the water and possibly the sidewalk, but more so the water into play when that gets up, if it's nose up. Cale going to the low line drive for an approach. No problems there for Luke. And now after coming back in with the penalty stroke, here's where Keenan's going to try and save his par from. So a very makeable putt. Not quite enough power, though. And that's giving Nick here a look to also save his par. Not sure if that branch is directly in his way or not. So Newton will fall victim to hole 9, looking at a bogey. So Luke will finish out his front 9, 3 under. Keenan's bogey here will push him back to even for the round. He remains at 12 now, which is where he started. Newton, with that bogey, goes to 18. So he is 4 under for the round, and Cale will have this to tap in. I'm going to show you some scores for all of the top 2 cards. So see ya, or stick around, whatever you need to do. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. Cale's 5 under through the front 9. So Cale making a push. Hamas, Umbrella both at 20. Newton at 18. Cale at 17. We'll see you guys for the back 9 of the bonus coverage of the 2022 Shelly Sharpe Memorial presented by Spinners on the Green.